Well, we got Police Chief Leon Jones
Yep.
with us, and we've been talking about that prior to his arrival. Good friend of mine, for sure. And to say it's unsettling times would be an understatement, especially for law enforcement. Let's start there. How do you view what's going on here, and what kind of proactive status have you had here at Oklahoma State?
Well, first off, I'd like to say, appreciate you guys having me on the show. And, our hearts go out to the families of the victims of all this type of incidents that's been going on, especially the Floyd case. For law enforcement, especially OSU, Stillwater, Payne County, we've been proactive, doing a lot of training, mental training, but diversity and inclusion training, accountability. We want to make sure that we're running and doing things that we say we're doing. And we like to be transparent about it. So we want everybody to know what we're doing. And we put out a survey asking the public what they want from us. And I think that's the best way to go. We can tell them what we think they want, but it's best to hear it from them. And then we can provide it.
Would you agree that, and obviously there's some places around the country you say this is not really going well, but wouldn't you agree in general that the law enforcement community everywhere has become more community oriented maybe in the last 5 years than it did in the previous 20?
Yes. The whole deal is getting involved in the community because we are
You are the
part of
community.
the community.
Yeah.
So today was more of a we than it was us and them. And it's been changing for the last, 5 to 10 years. We're starting to realize that and say, hey, we're part of the community. We're here. We want to be here. And what can we do to make it better? So the protest today was great because we listened.
Yeah.
We heard. And it would be easy to get offended when somebody calls and say everything about the police. But they're wanting their voices heard. And if we listen, we can come up with the answers for a solution so we can all get together and we can heal. That's where we need to be now and start to heal.
It is tough in any business to broad brush. And because when you do that, you get in trouble. When you start throwing everybody into one hat, that's not good. And there's no question what went on in Minneapolis was a bad deal. No question, bad deal. And hopefully they'll be taken care of in the court of law. But to incorporate every police officer around the country in that one umbrella is not fair.
Not.
Now, let me be fair here, too. I've had it brought up to me that if you say that, Tom, then you also have to admit that you can't throw every young black male into the category that he's a criminal either.
Right.
So it does work both ways.
It does. And, the actions of a few shines a bad light on all law enforcement. We can't take that personal to the point to where it causes us to have that shadow over us. We just need to overcome that. And, discrimination-wise, I'm a black male.
Yeah.
It was a part of life for me growing up. I didn't really realize it, growing up. It's just part of life. You get through it. You work to succeed. But when all of this came out, all the old emotions came back, and I didn't realize it. I was thinking, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It's actually still here. But this is the turning point. No more silence. Not the officers, police departments are going to start holding everybody accountable. We're going to be transparent. We want the community to know that we are the community with them. It's we all together making it work.
There are a number of black police chiefs around the country. And of course you are here at the Oklahoma State level. I don't know if the word I'm seeking, but is there extra expectations and or pressure on somebody in your position because you are black, where one side says, hey, now we got somebody who's good, and then the other side goes, now we got somebody. Is that a situation that's tough?
I tell you, the amount of support that I've received here and around has been great. I think I put more pressure on myself because I do not want to let anybody down. I want to know we can always do better. We can always improve. And so that's what I want to do each day. I wake up, I know I'm going in. I got a great group of guys that make me look good every day. So the credit goes to them. If I say something, we talk about it, and we come up with a plan to make it happen, and they execute it. And sometimes I feel bad I forget to give them the credit for it, but they are the ones that really get out there and make it happen. My idea maybe, but they push it together and make it come true.
Has it been a situation, we've got into this, we've had Leon on so many times, I forget, but, there was a time when, and this is one of those, you can't win, you can't lose situations, but when I first came on board a long time ago, I was covering college athletics in the 70s, well, you had those that said, police in a town, they just look for an athlete and they arrest them. Then you had the other side of the fence said, no, wait a minute, they let them get away with everything. It's one of these deals where you can't win either way.
Right. And I think the key to that is, like I said earlier, transparency. What happens, but if people see it and they know what's going on, it's easier to understand. So if you walk people through what you're doing, it's easier to understand, because if they don't get that, or anybody don't get it, just like everybody, we'll make up our own story, and it becomes gossip.
Yeah.
So if you just put it out there, just let them know it's all good.
You think we're at you turn at maybe a tipping point, turning point, and I think that's probably going to be true if we come back and just a year from now, we're having a conversation and maybe things really haven't changed. Because being old like I'm twice as old as either one of you guys. But I've seen these things happen over the years, and my view is, all right, when these things happen, everybody's appalled, so we have conversations, and we have committees, and we have oversight here, and we talk for 6 months, and then what happens in the next 6 months? Is that going to happen here right now, you think, or are you hoping for better?
We're hoping for better. I, for one, won't let the conversation die.
Okay.
It takes people that are willing to keep that conversation going, and realizing when the change is happening that we acknowledge it and we move forward, we start healing. No, we can't let this go. We can't be silent. We have to stand up for what's right. And we know what happened out there was not right.
Right.
It was wrong. And I can say it over and over and over again. Wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
Is wrong. And that was wrong. So, yeah, we're going to stay on top of this. We're going to keep having those conversations. And we're going to open it up, say, hey, if you ever been mistreated or felt like you've been mistreated, call us. Email me. If you don't feel comfortable coming to the police department, go to the clergy. They will contact us. Give us an opportunity to take and fix the issue. Now, if we do have officers that can't be trained, can't be fixed, they got to go. We're not going to tolerate it. We're not going to cover it up. We are going to either fix the problem, and not saying necessarily when you kick somebody out that actually fixes the problem, but they won't be using that authority to their advantage.
I know I've said this before. My grandson went through the academy, and my knowledge of policing was when somebody pulled me over and said, "Let me see your driver's license. You're going too fast." That's all I ever knew. Okay, but there's sensitivity training in academies now because of the position you are in the community. You have to be sensitive to the people you're dealing with. Do you see that as a major step forward maybe in the last year or two?
Definitely. Different areas, people come from different places, treated differently. And it's not saying it's bad. What was socially accepted 20 years ago is no longer socially accepted, and it will not be.
Exactly.
I remember growing up in a small town. If something was to go wrong, we couldn't go in and complain to the people because you become a target. Now we're changing that. You come in and let us know what's going on, and we're going to take care of the issue. We're going to investigate it. We're going to take care of it. If it turns out to be true, we're going to let you know how we handle it. It's public knowledge. There's nothing to be secret about it, unless it's some kind of a medical issue. Of course, we can't release
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But
We don't want to get into that again.
Oh boy, no.
We
Yeah.
already had a knockdown with a caller on that, but yeah, people just can't turn medical information loose anymore.
Like traffic stops, an officer issue you a citation, that citation is not that you're guilty. You have the opportunity to go to court. And that's where the battle began. The fight shouldn't be out in the street, because you got two people that's got their mind made up.
Yeah.
You're not going to solve that in no 15 minutes. And then that's when the scuffle begins. And who knows what comes out of that. So
probably nothing good.
Nothing good.
And Leon, can I ask you, I've seen a lot of, and my stance on this too has been, instead of maybe, I don't know, I've said you can't fight police brutality with more police brutality. And instead of maybe more violence and everything, I imagine some of these people use this aggressiveness at the polling stations, for instance. I mean, is that something that you've tried to understand more too for some of these people? Is that, get out there and bully some of these sheriffs, these politicians, whatever, out of office?
Yeah, that's a good one. Voting is there for everybody. That if we have time to celebrate a birthday, we got time to vote. And that's our legal right to do so, to say what we want. Now, we're not going to always win, but just because we don't win who we want in the office, we shouldn't just stop talking. We still got to talk. And we got to go in with the sensibility of, hey, we got to say our piece. This is what's happening now. The voices are being heard. And it's not just by one singular group. It's by everybody. And you still have a few people that's upset about things that's going on, but at least the voices are being heard. Especially if the people are getting angry, they heard it.
And I would say
they didn't like it.
It's never as easy as we like to make it, obviously. But if police and law enforcement people could be sure that the person they're dealing with, whether their warrants out, whether they've stolen something, whether they've had domestic abuse, if they could be sure, and I'm being facetious here, that they would sit down and talk, then there's no need to have physical confrontation. But the police don't know that, and more times than not, they're gone. I mean, they're going to try to do something so they're not apprehended. So to say that there's police brutality all the time, it depends on the situation you're in.
Yes. And yes. When someone is being arrested and they don't want to be arrested, we have an obligation to get them and handcuff them. But like the incident in Minnesota, there was no, he wasn't fighting, he wasn't doing anything, and they had him handcuffed and subdued. There's no need for the force anymore. And a lot of times, and not all the times, I'm not going to say it's going to happen every time, but if you tell people what's happening, they'll be more apt to listen and comply. Tell them what you want. On the other hand, you got the people that's not going to do what you're going to say. They're automatically upset because the police officers show up. But we still can't take it so personal that it throws us off of what we're supposed to do. Like, we can't get angry in a situation like that. We still got to keep our minds, let our training work, and then use the mental part of it and the verbal part of it to complete the task.
And Leon, I'm sorry, Tom, I'm butting in on your segment here. When you brought that up with the Minnesota situation, and I've actually really been curious about this. Like, are police officers taught that way to put even if it's for 30 seconds, just to put the knee on the neck at all, anything like that? Like, was that just all him being
different agencies train different. I can't believe that they still train that, even if, from 1994 when I joined the force, it wasn't taught.
Okay.
If it was taught before that, it should have been not taught. I just can't believe that agencies are still teaching that. And I can't say whether they are or not. No, we don't.
Okay. Yeah.
There's different restraints and different techniques to gain compliance. But once you get to compliance, all that stuff has to stop, and then we go from there.
Have you had any immediate meetings with your staff since this happened to maybe look over what you're doing, maybe look ahead to what you're going to do?
So that's a very good point. We have always been proactive. Like I said earlier, we've been doing this training. We've been making changes. It was going on before I became the chief, and I have an opportunity to keep it going and enhance it. So we've been doing this, trying to make a difference. And yeah, we have conversations, how people feel, because right now it's very an emotional point.
Sure.
I'm not going to tell you how I felt when I woke up or when I heard the news, but it was emotional. It wasn't just from, just from police officers, the citizens, everybody, you know. And so conversations between us, between the guys at work, hey, you know, what are you feeling? We want to know so we can get the job done the way it's supposed to be done, basically. If someone's having a real bad issue with it, we need to get them some help.
Now, you oversee people over there in Tulsa, OSU Tulsa too as well. So you've got a couple of campuses that you deal with. Obviously, the students have not been here. We had the rally or the protest today. Are you anticipating when school gets back in full force here that this will come up again and you're going to have more people wanting to become involved?
I believe so. And like I said earlier, it's always, and sometimes it's good to not let the issue die. You know, everybody get comfortable, think everything's fine, and then 6 months later, we're back in the same boat.
We've seen that happen time and time again.
Making sure that the voices are heard and that we are listening is the key. We can't just say, yeah, everybody's got a voice, let them go talk. We got to have somebody on the other side of that is listening. And that's where we're at now. We got to listen. We got to hear. We got to see what we can do to make the difference. If we can make the difference, let's make it happen. If we can't, explain why we can't. But we can't just ignore it. So we got to just keep pushing forward. We still got a long way to go, apparently.
Yeah.
But I think we can get there.
Do you have to meet? Do you meet with specified faculty, student representatives throughout the year about each and everything that goes on campus? But I would think that might be an issue that comes up as soon as school starts again.
Yeah, we do make ourselves available for that, and we get a lot of requests to come and speak. And we're not afraid, you know, ask me anything. We'll talk about it. I might not have the answers, but that shouldn't stop you from asking. We'll get the answers one way or the other, whether we can make it happen or whether we can't make it happen, but we're not going to ignore it.
You've worked outside the spectrum of Oklahoma State in law enforcement before, and you've been on big levels, high levels of that, gone to academies and things. When you were going through the training that you've had, did you ever think that this would rear its ugly head again like it did?
I tell you what, no. When you see it, and especially at the level it was this past, you see it, it takes a toll on you. Mm-hmm. You know, emotionally, it's like, when's enough? But when they were calling out all the names today from 2016, that was a lot of people. That was a lot of names. And that really hit home. It was like, wow, you know, when is enough?
Welcome back to the show. Yes, where are they now? And we know where this guy is all the time. That's why I call. I got his number. I got your number. And we call Leon Jones, police chief here at Oklahoma State, a lot. And we thought he would be a great guest, and he always is anyway. But to kind of talk about the overall situation we have nationally, it gets muddied, in my opinion, and you may disagree. We disagree on occasion. When protesters who have the right idea and they're going to be peaceful, and then you have an element that comes in on top of that are nothing more than troublemakers, that muddies the water, does it not?
Yeah, when things turn violent, the message is lost. It's unfortunate. What do you do, you know? It brings up more emotions from a lot of people. They don't understand what's going on. We don't understand what's going on. Why would you do this? Everything was peaceful. Everything was going good. Everybody's listening, getting along. And all of a sudden, it makes a turn, which, I mean, can't be explained. Just don't understand.
Well, we've heard all various theories. You know, these are outside groups. These are people who are paid to do. I mean, I don't know enough about it. But it does seem like in the last couple of nights, things have somewhat kind of gotten back under control.
Right.
Do you see it the same way?
Yeah. You know, when this first happened, everybody was angry.
Yeah.
And that anger overflowed. And I'm not trying to make excuses or justify what the violent protest became. But the anger is starting to kind of settle down a little bit more now as voices are being heard and then action being taken. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it is, you know, the justice system should be swift. but still have their investigation that has to do. We just got to be patient to see what's going to happen. And that's the one thing I had to remember myself is I got to be patient to see what's going to go on.
Sure.
And then we'll go from there to see what needs to happen.
And there's no question that, and I think today I might be behind the news ball here, but I think there was supposed to be additional charges and all that stuff, and what they were going to charge him with, and maybe the other officers as well. So we'll find out that, and hopefully that'll take care of itself. Let's get back to the public involvement again. Police, municipalities, statewide, but local. You guys, for the most part, with the Stillwater Police, Payne County people, you're always in concert doing something.
Yes.
You're working together.
Yes, the cooperation between the agencies is outstanding, and it's great. It's that's a big part of the community being together. All of us working together, doing the right thing, makes a big difference. And no other way to explain it, but Jeff Watts is running a great ship over there. Now, Sheriff Kevin Woodward,
right,
interim, he's doing a great job. He's making changes. The future is looking good. I think that we have a real opportunity to keep Stillwater a great community. I hope we can make the community help them to know that we are.
Right.
There. So that's the main push. We want them to know. We want them to ask questions. But most of all, we want to continue doing great things as a community.
As a nation, police chiefs, back before Zoom, everybody does it now, but did you have conventions? Did you have places you went to exchange ideas and, all right, here's what's going on in our community, and here's how we handle it, type thing?
Yes, they have like national conferences. Oklahoma have the OECP conference, which is all the Oklahoma chiefs of police, and it's just not just for chiefs of police; it's the command staff level or officers, and it gives us a chance to network. And like you say, Zoom makes it great. The technology, I can get on the phone and call a chief from another campus, Austin or up in Iowa State, and talk to them to see what they have going on, which is awesome that we're talking. It gives us an opportunity to say, what are you doing? Do you mind if I take your procedure and use it? I think it will work great here. And we just got to keep them lines of communication open. But the communication part of it is we got to know what the community wants. And we got to figure out a way to get it to the community because we live in it. What we do for the community, we are doing for ourselves. And so we just got to know how to start listening and how to start putting it in play.
Do you feel more comfortable in your position now? What are we, 2 years plus, or what are we in?
About 3 years.
There you go, yeah. And I remember the day we had you on, like the next day,
yes.
You were named, and I was so proud of what you were, because you've been a good friend all these years. But do you feel more comfortable in your position now?
I would say I am a little more comfortable, but the pressure that I put on myself to not fail, not mess up.
Yeah.
I got to keep myself on point because I don't want to ever get complacent to think that I know everything. So I want to continue working with the officers real close. I'm down the hall all the time. I want that interaction. I want them to know that we are there to make sure that they're able to do what they need to do, and also the community. So, yeah, I put more pressure on myself but I think that's a good thing.
You're going to have the whole student body back, barring any change of plans. I think and correct me here, but I think the last date I saw was July 8th when the public can come back on campus.
Yes.
The buildings are open, I guess. So has that changed? Is that still to your knowledge?
That's still the plan.
And you guys are not part of the medical part of this.
No.
However, you're part of the community that's dealing with this virus.
Yes.
And being concerned with doing it right and making sure it doesn't spike and all. Do you have to go to some of these meetings to kind of figure out what's going on?
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
I keep emphasizing, I try to do it with the caller the last hour. We've got learned people who are on top of this. They know what they're doing.
Yes, it's we're on the phone or in virtual meetings 2 to 3 times a week because things change so fast, and we want to stay on top of it. So yeah, we got people that are really good at what they're doing, and they can set this stuff up. And as the police, we want to make sure they're able to do their jobs safe. I'm not gonna lie, I can't tell them how to do their job.
Sure.
We can make sure that they're safe while doing it, and that's why we're there. And yeah, we've been on the phone calls. We're right in the middle of the planning, so it looks good.
And we don't know. Football Saturday may look a little different, or Thursday, depending on what night we're playing. But it may look different than what we had in years past.
Yes.
And you may have less people to get in and out of a stadium and deal with and all that. But it's doable no matter what it is. And again, I sound like a broken record, but the people who are making these decisions on the university side and in the athletic department side and even the local, they know what they're doing. You have to trust them to make sure that they know what they're doing, and when you need to know something, they'll tell you.
Exactly.
And so that leads me into this. Social media. I don't know if you're a big social media guy or not. How do you guys handle truth from gossip, from non-truths, when somebody starts something and all of a sudden people react to it?
Yeah, that's sometimes it's a battle that we can't get involved in. Sometimes it's a battle that we need to get involved in. And that's one of those deals where we say we can't be silent anymore. We want to make sure that the information that gets out is correct. If we have the opportunity to correct something, we'll make it happen. If it's something that's just not going to be corrected, people said that this is what they're going to say. It could be totally incorrect, but that is what they're going to say. You know, we have to pick and choose which battles we're going to jump in on, but we want to make sure that the information is correct.
Have you guys, and without getting specific, because you're not going to throw out any names, but in the time you've been the police chief, have there been some falsities thrown out there initially? And you know, you look at a social media and a tweet go, that's not even close to being correct. Mm-hmm. But if I send it and 10 other people read it, all of a sudden it's true.
It's fact.
So how do you handle that?
There's a number of ways you can handle it. The best way is to get the information out correctly with, using Twitter or Facebook, then send out a statement to say what you've heard is incorrect. Back when the phone scams was going on, people calling saying that they were me, and you need to come down. We had to get out and send a message that this is the procedure that we use. Leon Jones is not going to call you and say, get down to the station, you got a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we had to get that out there to make sure people knew what the truth was.
In this day and age, anything that you read on the internet is true. Anything social media is true. And that drives me up the wall to begin with. Anything else you want to get out there in terms of, because let's face it, in some form or fashion, school's going to be getting here unless there's a change of heart and we don't do the in-classroom stuff anymore. And I haven't detected any of that going on. So, hey, 20,000 more people coming back.
It's what we've been taught over the years as growing up, wash your hands. Yeah. Sanitation is really important. And if you feel sick, stay at home. There's nothing about tomorrow, if we're blessed to be here the next day, that has to be done that can't be done the next day or a couple hours down the road. So if you feel sick, stay at home. Make sure you wash your hands. And as always, I always say be safe. Mm-hmm. Know your surroundings. Things like that. It's a very emotional period this time. The COVID has pretty much changed the way things have been done, but we'll get back to normal. I can't tell you what kind of normal that's going to be, but we're resilient. We'll be able to make it happen. Working together, basically, we're going to make it happen.
And, to kind of come full circle, football has started to bring players back, and, we discussed this previous couple hours, all of a sudden somebody throws out a number, 5 and tested positive, and people believe it, and the school has to come out and verify this is the case. But I go back to the trust factor again. It has to be there that the university and the athletic department, local municipality, they're all working together. Yeah. They're all aware. Nobody's hiding information over here. Everybody gets the information. And when it becomes something that the public needs to know, then they let them know
Yes.
in the right way, and not 3 different people tell you.
So it's everybody has to get together, make sure we give out the right message.
Right.
You know, sure, somebody from this department can throw something out. Somebody from this department can throw something out. But until we get together, we might throw the wrong message out. So
Yeah.
that's why we gotta make sure we.
I tell these guys all the
cooperate.
time when I first got in the department, and I like this situation now because it comes out of public information, Burns Hargis. You know, there's one voice, one message. That's what it is.
Exactly right.
But back in the old days when I first came into the department, if there was an issue that they want to know about athletics, they go to 5 different people, and we give 5 different answers, and that was never good. I mean, because then it just clouded everything, you know. So I think we got a good thing going there. Hey, we can go on forever, and we appreciate you staying with us.
Thanks for having me.
Any other last thing you want to get out there, because we're on the cusp of everybody coming back.
I just appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to speak. The protest today went great. We did hear it. We listened. And I think it's going to be great moving forward.
The best thing I liked was peaceful, yet informative, and people listened, and we didn't have any nasty stuff
Didn't have
going
any
on.
nasty stuff. That was awesome.
That's great. Hey, appreciate you coming, buddy.
Thanks for having
You
me
know,
again.
I always love you have that.
Thanks so much.
That's Police Chief Leon Jones.